Okay, welcome everybody. This is Dr. Angelica Underwood in the Power Talk Asks the Expert. And today we have a very sensitive conversation that we're going to be having. And it's really going to be difficult sometimes to talk about it because they're tough subjects. One of them is domestic violence. The other one is breast cancer. As you know, we have 1 out of 4 women that experience domestic violence and 1 out of 9 men that experience domestic violence as well. Yes, you heard me right. Men experience domestic violence, and we have to face reality and we have to begin having these tough conversations. So I really want to thank you for being here with us. We have amazing sheroes, heroes, and experts joining us here today. So with me today, I have Regne Sinicas. Regne Sinicas will be our first person that will be here today, that will be talking to us, because Regne Sinicas and myself, we need to bring Regne in. She is one of the world leaders. It's called World Conference and Awards. And Regne, I really want to thank you for being here because I've been inspired with your work. And I know that your foundation is about meeting big causes, and domestic violence and breast cancer is one of them. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ragnar Sinicas, and yes, I'm the founder of World Women Conference and Awards and the Untold Story Foundation. And our true mission is to empower through education and to really create access to opportunities, train people, especially girls and women worldwide, and be the advocacy for all the significant, let's say, issues, problems that girls and women are facing today all over the world. So yes, those 2 topics are very close to our hearts because we see that our sisters in all our global network, almost every single one have close relationship, in a sense that maybe not themselves, but someone in close friendship or family has been touched with this topic. And obviously, I think there's many things where to focus, but this year particularly, as we see that our stress levels because of uncertainty, fear, anxiety, this is everything what is actually adding up. So be very careful, each one of you, that you took today the time to listen to this, because without your knowledge, you are helping this disease to grow. So today you might be fine, but believe me, all those little things which we think like, of course I need to worry. How can this is my nature, this is my character, this is my, you can change it. You do have the power to change it. And I'm not underestimating the life this year, particularly because of the pandemic, has been very, very tough on everybody. So be there for each other, support each other, and most importantly, also empower and lift each other. Not just be there, because I have felt the last months myself. There's a lot of people who come to you and they say, I want to help you. But the thing is that when you don't have the clarity, and when people are waiting for you to be the hero or shero, then you don't want to show yourself vulnerable. But my today's message is that sometimes we need to do it. Sometimes we really need to feel, to go through our emotions in order to get better, in order to create the change, in order to really, really not just add up the stress inside us and trying to be strong for outside. This doesn't work. So if the change doesn't come from inside, you're not going to really get much better. So start with yourself, put and be selfish for once in a life. Be selfish in a sense that put yourself in first. And if you put yourself in first, love yourself, honor yourself, respect yourself, everything else is going to flow.
Thank you, Regne, because it is tough situations. I mean, it's not just domestic violence right now. And I think our domestic violence probably increased. And I know that some of the panelists are going to be talking about that, where because we're home more, and I think that you're stuck at home with your partner, with your children, even children, you know, the abuse of children has also increased. And of course, we have COVID, where we're losing a lot of lives right now. So I think these are very important conversations that we have today. So thank you, Regne, for being here, and stick around with me. You don't have to exit out. You are welcome to stay here and have those conversations. Our next panelists are some amazing ladies. We have Regne will continue here, Lakeisha, Cheryl, and Teddy. And some of the conversations that we're having, for example, Cheryl, are you here already? Okay, we have
I'm here.
Lakeisha. Oh, okay. Blessings. Thank you for being here. I know that some of the conversations, if you can just tell us a little bit about yourself, Cheryl, because I know that you are from Israel. So if you can say where you're from, I think that's going to be powerful, because this is a global virtual panel where we are from around the world coming together on these heart topics.
Thank you so much, Dr. Angela. Hi, everyone. And it's a real privilege to be here on this very important forum this evening and joining in this important conversation, raising awareness about these crucial topics. I'm Cheryl Putterman, coming to you from Israel. I'm the founder and CEO of Nourishment Vitality. I'm an internationally trained mind, body, wellness practitioner, and I specialize in stress and anxiety management, conscious relationships, and nutritional psychology. I've been led to my life's passion and purpose through my own life's adversity. My family and I are survivors of the 2004 Asian tsunami, and it was this traumatic, life-changing event that was the catalyst that has led me on my studies of the science of stress, the healing power of breath, and on my journey today of helping so many people overcome their life conditions and empower their lives. We are now experiencing a crisis within a crisis of unprecedented consequences due to the pandemic. And it is so important to raise awareness, to hear courageous voices, and to let others know that you are not alone in this time of chaos and uncertainty. So thank you, Angelica.
Yeah, well, thank you for being here. I know that we also have with us Lakeisha. Lakeisha, if you would like to please share briefly a little bit about yourself.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me, Angelica. I am Lakeisha James. I am the owner of Designer Events by Lakeisha, where we specialize in corporate event planning, set design for films and plays, and also event design. And I'm also a mentor, also a first-time author. My book will drop December this year. And my goal is just to, empower women all over. We all have a short story to tell. So my thing is just to empower, encourage each other, and just be there for one another.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. And then with us, we also have Teddy Nove. Tell us a little bit.
Good morning, Angelica. Dr. Angelica, thank you for having me this morning.
Thank you for being
My name is Teddy Noev, and I grew up in communist Bulgaria. And it is a true but sad fact that at least 35% of all women worldwide have been abused in one form or another throughout their lifetime, physically, sexually, mentally, emotionally. And when you think about it, this is 1 in every 3 women you meet, talk with, or interact on a daily basis. In fact, I was one of these women. So I use my story growing up in communist Bulgaria and adversities that I overcame, but I use my story because I owned my story and I lived it, but I also left it. So today, I'm the founder and CEO of Your Best Life, and I'm all about empowering women as a coach, as an author, and as a speaker. Because most of us have stories to tell. And unfortunately, some of us have some heartbreaking stories to share. But it's what we do with these stories. Because if we keep retelling these stories over and over again, we're becoming the main character of our story, and we're developing a victim mentality. I teach and empower women how to turn the tables around and become a victor instead of a victim. I offer one-on-one coaching to empower women as well as group coaching, and I reach one beautiful lady at a time. Thank you for having me today.
Okay, thank you. Give me a second. Regne sent a message saying it's not live. So. Technology. Okay. I thought it was going live. Regne. Yeah. Okay. It's all good. It's all good. We're not gonna, we're gonna continue with the flow. So Regne.
When you go next to the grabar or record, there you can you need to sign in for the whether you want to go to Facebook or
Oh, that's what you were saying, that it wasn't live here. Oh, okay. I thought it wasn't live here in the platform. Okay, Regne, you could stay the whole time if you like. Okay,
no
well,
problem.
thank you everybody for being patient. If you're still watching here, it is the Power Talk Ask the Expert, and with me I have amazing sheroes and heroes here, sharing a little bit about their story and what they went through. So we want to thank you for being here. And ladies, I have a question for the panel. And basically, as you know, that there's domestic violence, but it is a hard topic, right? And how do we know that you're actually in domestic violence? You know, because I think as going through it, we always make excuses as either woman or men, and you're thinking that it's okay, that what you're going through like you're blaming yourself because you probably feel you didn't do something right, or you feel that it's something that everybody goes through. So how do you know when it's domestic violence? Who would like to answer that? Regne? Mhm.
I would say that the moment that you do not respect yourself and honor yourself, then you are in a situation of domestic violence, because after interviewing so many domestic violence survivors, there is one particular character, and let's say the violator always seeks for victims, and the victims, because of their background, because of their history, they give themselves away very easily. So there becomes the situation where the violator always knows that they can dominate and they can actually take control over that person. And that doesn't need to be always physical. There is, I think there is much more and more wider the mental, and even if we see the forms of violations, there are financial, there is the mental, physical, sexual, whatever it is. So there's so many different forms. And the biggest problem is with people who come from the background that they have seen that happening in their previous generations.
Mhm.
So it becomes the pattern that you think that, oh, maybe that is the life, because you haven't experienced anything else.
Right.
So and that it's very hard circle to come out.
Mhm.
And maybe what I have received as the answers is that they also lose the people around them when they decide to go back, and nobody understands, why would you go back if he almost killed you, if he almost whatever he or she did, why would you go back? But that's the thing, that we do not believe in ourselves enough that we can make it, and we are just addicted to that feeling of sort of certainty, because this is what we know.
Exactly. Mhm. And that happens. And I even know, Lakeisha, I mean, you want to talk about the dating violence, because it starts when you're dating, and I even saw it, that it started there, and we become blind, and then I married into it, because in my situation, I was hoping to cure and change that person. So Lakeisha, do you want to talk about that? You're muted. Lakeisha, you're muted.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay. For me, I was in a dating situation. It was my first actually real relationship, and it turned out to be violence. He would get angry, he would be possessive. It would become a point in time where he would actually beat me, and I would lie to my family and friends about it. I would have to not go to work because I was just, in denial. And I went through that situation for 3 years. I was afraid to leave. He would threaten me and say, if you leave me, I'll kill you. So I was in panic and I was afraid to leave. But one day I did get up the courage to leave. And when I did leave, I felt better. I didn't have that luggage. I didn't have that guilt on me. And then, of course, I did realize, I guess about 2 years ago, that me being in that situation, I didn't have control. And that made an impact on my life now, because I'm such a control freak. I have to control every situation. And I didn't realize that was why I picked it up, because in that situation, I had no control, and I vowed to myself, I will never put myself in that situation again, not have control. So it does have an impact on you as you get older. And it does take a time for you to come out of denial and say, you know what? That's why it happened to me. And now for me to get my life back, to claim my life back, that I'm not a control freak. I'm here to share my story just like everyone else. And I hope that I encourage people that have been in similar situations to share their story and not to be afraid, and to know that we can do this together.
Mhm.
And everyone has a story to share.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And it doesn't only happen in relationships, right, Teddy? I mean, you talk, Teddy, that in a communist, there's this violence. So,
Yes, absolutely. And I agree with Regne about the fact that violence does not have to be necessarily physical violence.
mhm,
It has so many different forms, and many times we're in denial when we're physically feeling safe, but emotionally we're violated, spiritually, mentally. And I absolutely agree with Lakeisha about the fact about the feeling of control, because I was one of these children. Children that grow up in traumatic situations or any form of abuse, they have the feeling of loss of control over ownership of their life.
mhm,
So many times they cling to food as something they can control, food intake, right? They become either anorexic, counting every single morsel of food they consume, or bulimic, where food is their own friend, dark place. They go to that dark place and food becomes their own, the only friend. And I was one of these children. I developed actually in my late teen years an eating disorder as something I perceived as having control over my food intake. And it took me many, many years to go over that. So the feeling of loss of control is many of those victims have, and they need help. Many of them are crying out silently for help.
right. And that, I mean, children, when they lose their voice, they just feel that they have to go with the flow and take it. So that is really hard. We do have our next panelist, and I'm going to leave, if ladies, if we could leave all the violence, domestic violence panelists here, and that way they can kind of be involved in the conversation because it's a power conversation. With us now, we have our next panelist of wonderful ladies. We have Regeline, Amber, Rosalind, Kalila, yes, please tell me, please. And we have Sylvia. If I mispronounce your name, say it again, please. And I apologize for that. But thank you, beautiful souls, for being here, because this is a powerful topic. And it, we don't talk about it much because we feel that we're going to offend sometimes the violator, the one that violated our lives. And we don't want to hinder them and hurt them because they are sometimes relatives or family members. And what do you do, right? So it's like we're taught to be quiet about the circumstance. But with us, we have Regeline. So would you like to introduce yourself and say a little bit about yourself?
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Regeline Sabat, but I prefer Gigi for short. I'm a first-generation Haitian American, motivational speaker, author, life coach, and CEO and founder of Life Service Center of America and Walk With Me podcast host. Now, I am also an advocate for domestic violence, and I'm truly grateful to be here with all of you, amazing ladies and men.
Rosalind, please tell us a little bit about yourself. You're muted, Rosalind.
Okay, there we go. Hello, everybody. Good morning. My name is Rosalind Willis, Dr. Rosalind Willis, PhD. I am the founder of BPMI Ladies Club. It's an outreach for women where we come every 3 months and bring the women together in the city and love on them, empower them. I'm an advocate for domestic violence. I'm a prayer warrior. I believe in standing in the gap and praying until something happens to change this world that we are in. I am very honored to be here with everyone that is here, and I'm ready to be a part of this conversation.
Thank you. Wow, powerful. And then we have Amber.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Dr. Angelica, excuse me. Good morning to all of the panelists here. Regane Senekis, our World Women in Conference and Awards leader, and Lakeisha James, my Atlanta chapter World Women in Conference Award leader. I want to specifically acknowledge those ladies. But to all of the women and men that are here this morning, it is my honor to be here with you. Thank you for this opportunity to once again do what we do. Talk about, educate, equip, and empower in regards to domestic violence. I am Amber Lyons. I am the founder and CEO of From Pain to Purpose Incorporated, which is a domestic violence and teen dating violence advocacy awareness organization where we work in the community here in Stone Mountain, Georgia, but we work it throughout Atlanta and abroad to be able to, as I say, equip, empower, and educate the community in regards to domestic violence, teen dating violence, which is a huge area in which we work. Although our foundation is based on domestic violence, we cross into anti-bullying. We work a lot with youth through our Healing Pain Through the Arts youth program. We have a Youth Speak Out podcast where we provide a platform for youth to be able to speak about whatever impacts them. So I'm also an elder, an ordained elder at Spirit and Truth Worship Center in Loganville, Georgia. And I teach and preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. And I am here to be able to be a wonderful part of this panel. I'm excited to be here. And yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. And then we have Kalila.
Yes, perfect. Thank you, Dr. Angelica. I am just so honored to be here amongst so many survivors, powerful women, and I thank you that you invited me. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this discussion. So I am a trauma and resilience expert. I am the CEO of Redefine Unlimited, which is a executive coaching firm for leaders. I also am a motivational keynote speaker, as well as I am an intergenerational trauma survivor. And I am just so grateful because I teach natural born leaders how to regain their power by overcoming trauma. And so this is one of the ways we do it, by breaking shame. So thank you for allowing me to be here.
Thank you. And then we have Sylvia.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to be present here. I am co-founder of Legacy Leadership Solutions. I'm a motivational speaker and coach. Our mission is to empower women and young girls and educate them in leadership. I'm sorry. I think in our
It's okay. Like
as women, I'm sorry. As women, there's a need to empower our young girls and let them know that there's choices and that they don't have to stay in a situation where they're being violated or abused in any way. And I think that starts through education. So that's what we're trying to do in our community. And it's a pleasure being here with a group of amazing women. It's a privilege.
Thank you, Sylvia. And Sylvia and I are from Laredo, Texas. You know, it's way down there in the South. And in our city recently, I mean, I do live in the Dallas area, but recently there's been a lot of deaths in young women being in these violent relationships and the boyfriends going in and killing even the family, the whole family. And that is devastating. And it's because of this violence that is, you know, that we need to talk about and warn our young girls. They need to be aware of what's happening so that they try to leave the relationships, but it gets so hard. And I know that, Regeline, you talk about strangulation. You know, that's one of your topics. I mean, what do you want to say about that?
Yes, ma'am. I want to raise awareness in regards to strangulation being the #1 cause of death in domestic violence relationships. I myself experienced it When I was in an abusive relationship, while attending law school, I was the SBA president. I oversaw all the organizations in the school. So you can imagine, here I am studying and I'm overseeing the organizations, working closely with faculty. But little did I know at home that I was being abused. So I got the shock of my life the one day that I was sitting on a couch after I just got done studying. I was on a phone call with a colleague handling SBA business, and my ex-partner just charged at me and strangled me, beat me, and threw my phone. And it was very intense, and I almost lost my life. So I'm truly grateful to be here.
Wow. Yeah. It's really difficult. Sometimes we don't even know we are in unhealthy relationships. We just don't know that. Amber, I mean, you talk about from pain to purpose. I mean, how do we take people that are in these tough relationships, because you are suffering, you are in pain, you know, and yet we continue to live in it. And then how do we get them out? Like, what do we do?
Well, first of all, you have to start with being able to deal with the fear, the intimidation, the denial. People have to come to a place where it's no longer silent. The power of the cycle of domestic violence lies within the fact that the abuser has control over the victim. So when you begin to strip that power away by giving that person support, aiding them with resources, helping them to understand that just because somebody is not beating you physically every day, but they are beating you verbally, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, financially. There are so many forms of abuse. When you begin to empower that person and let them know that they deserve better and that is not the life that God has intended them to live, that's when you begin to give that person the ability to know that they don't have to stay in that situation. Many reasons that people stay in those situations, but the main reason is fear. It is intimidation. It is, some women don't have any other means of support. So they feel like, how am I going to live? Me and my children, this is all we know. And then sometimes it's what you came out of, you know, so it's, you already got like that PTSD. You already in the Stockholm syndrome, where you feel like this is a part of what you're supposed to be, but you have to begin to give them hope. You have to begin to support them and let them know, baby, you deserve better. You don't supposed to live like this. So when you strip that power away from the abuser and you begin to give that victim the voice to be able to say, no longer are we gonna cover this up, but we're gonna expose it. Not that you have to go on social media, but you expose it by exposing them to things that empower them. And that is how you begin to transition people from the place of pain to their place of purpose. And that's what we do at From Pain to Purpose.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And you know, Kalia talks about the narcissist and the silent victim, you know, which is what you're talking about, Amber and Regeline, and all of you have really touched on that we're silent victims.
Yeah.
So tell us more, Kalia.
So the silent victim, and for me, it was the grooming. So as an intergenerational trauma survivor and domestic violence survivor, I was groomed to accept the behavior. My grandmother had gone through abuse. My mom had gone through abuse. And then when I found myself in the same type of relationship, when I tried to do everything to not be like them, I couldn't believe it, because he wasn't violent like that. He was educated. He had, his parents were together. It didn't look like the image. And I knew that I was choosing different. But what happened was I was groomed. My mindset was groomed because I was shamed. You know, there's something about that when we're traumatized and the environments of abuse, they shame you for being weak. They victim blame, you know, even the language of victim versus survivor. We are all survivors. Let's start there. Okay. But that alone, when you put that on someone else, like you're the responsible one. How did you let somebody do that to you? That lets, you know, that puts us in a situation to say, I couldn't do that. So I kept my mouth shut. Nobody would believe me anyway. And so the narcissist is usually someone that has gone through trauma, And we're, you know, the empath, the ones that are compassionate, the ones that are easily susceptible to the narcissist are ones that are feelers. We are targets, right? Because our power is in our emotions and ability to express ourselves. And so what they do is make you second guess yourself so that what you're seeing, you're like, no, did I really see what I saw? And so what the narcissist is she's going to always position themselves, or she's going to always position themselves of power. They even come as healers. You know, it's very likely that one of us is a narcissist because but we have to make sure that we understand the language. Right. The language is different from a healer versus a narcissist. A narcissist inflicts shame, inflicts a place of victim shaming and victim blaming. The empath is someone that leads with vulnerability. Now, not just vulnerability, I'm gonna just tell you my business. The type of vulnerability that we can heal with is the type of vulnerability where we show ourselves. I can cry, I can become emotional, but I know who I am. I'm standing on the foundation that this happened to me, and I can use my story to break others free, but I am not a victim of it any longer. And there is layers of healing, and this will be a process forever. So I'm gonna take you from the place of thinking that you have to arrive at a certain place. We are all still healing, but we are still powerful. They didn't take our power away. We're standing, we're breathing, we're able to speak about the story because it did not overcome us, because we're survivors. Yeah. And so that is the thing that I think I want to teach everybody, you know, because as victims, we'll go after the familiar, not realizing it may look different, but if you pay attention to the language, if you pay attention to the energy, the feelings that you get, do you feel like you're empowered by that person, or do you feel like you're being shamed or judged? And so it's important to know the language of a narcissist, because it doesn't have to happen in a black eye. I know very well, and it almost took me out of here. So I think it's very important for us to understand that.
Yeah, thank you very much. Carmen, we took the wrong Sylvia out. It's Anna. Change your name, please. Yeah, you have the wrong name, and we took Silvia out. If we can bring Silvia Davila back in. But Rosalind, what do you have to, Rosalind, what would you like to add?
Yes, it's the topic in itself, you know, when you're dealing with anybody with domestic violence, you know, everybody, when they hear domestic violence, automatically thinks about, you know, a person getting hit, a person getting choked, a person that has an abuser that is leaving physical marks on their body. And now my situation, it was more mental, emotional, you know, with the aggressor being a person, you know, as they say, like a narcissist that, you know, that slowly knocks down your personality, and you begin to give so much of yourself that you don't know who you are anymore. So one of the shows that I have is coming off of mute, because in the time that I went through my stage of what I call bondage, because I was in bondage, I did not know my value, and I did not know my worth. So therefore I thought that what I was getting was what I deserved. And I believe that is the biggest thing that I try to teach the women and men that I encounter, to understand their value and their worth. Because when you know who you are and you know whose you are, you do not allow anyone to treat you any kind of way. And so that is the biggest thing, is giving people their voice back. You know, Keeping It Real with Coach Roz, coming off mute. That is a show where people are able to come and tell their stories and be able to release the bondage that they've been held in. You got people that's been in abuse for 50, 60, 70 years, and they've never had a voice. They've never been able to tell anyone what they've been through. And it's time to change that. And that's what my breath is. As an advocate, I want to make sure that people get their voice out there, because it's so important.
Angelica, you're muted.
Thank you. That's powerful. And then we have Sylvia. Sylvia, how do you think it affects our young girls? I mean, based on what you're hearing, I mean, what do you think we as adults need to do differently to kind of help these young women? You're muted too. Sylvia, you're muted.
Okay, I was listening to everyone's story, and everything that everyone was saying resonates with me. From Kalila's story, where it was generational, you know, it was her parents, her grandparents, and it was taboo back then. You didn't speak of what was going on with you. As a matter of fact, we were brought up to not have feelings. Our generation, I think, if you fell, don't cry. If you got spanked, you better stop crying, or you're gonna get more of the same. We weren't allowed to feel, and I think that is partially why we ended up in situations and stayed there, because we didn't think we had to say so. We didn't think we had a right to feel, and if we were feeling something, we were cowards. You had to push through and you know, somehow fix it. So what I would like to teach young girls is that sometimes you just can't fix things. Sometimes you just have to listen to that gut feeling and run, because you know, somebody who is like that is very unlikely to change. And I can attest to that, because the person that I was with is still in the same boat, to tell you that he's not even in a relationship. He can't last in a relationship because he refuses to see what he's doing. He refuses to see that he has a problem. And most men or women who are narcissists are never going to be emotionally intelligent enough to say, hey, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people told me the same thing, and maybe I'm the common denominator. So we need to teach our young girls that love is not jealousy, and it's not possessiveness. And no, the fact that he's calling to check on you at 3 o'clock in the morning is to see if you're home, doesn't mean he loved you. Saying I'm sorry after the second time, I mean, the first time, if you're smart enough, you should run. If after the second time, there's no third chances. You need to take care of yourself. You need to learn to love yourself, and you need to, you know, just listen to that gut feeling. Listen to what your own intelligence is telling you, because we do have that inner intelligence, and a lot of the times the warning signals are all over the place, but we just refuse to listen to them. You know, you said sometimes we don't realize that we're in an abusive relationship, and I get that. Sometimes we don't, but the worst part of it is that a lot of the times we do know we're in it, and we still decide to stay. And that's where we need to get our girls. We need to get our girls out of that space, to know that it's safe to run and they have choices.
And I think it's because we feel that we love them, but I think that we have to love ourselves even more. Because when we don't love ourselves more than what we love, how much we love this individual, that's when we get hurt and other people get hurt. But with us, I'm hoping I addressed all of you women here. Was everybody able to talk their voice? Okay. If I left you out, please, I want you to speak up and be in the conversation. But with us, we have some amazing men, because here's my other son. Hold on. We're going to squeeze in here. His name is Jorge. And what happens is that as men also experience violence. And we're going to talk a little bit about both topics right now. With the men, we're going to be talking about domestic violence and about breast cancer. And this is a perfect transition to go from domestic violence to the breast cancer in a few minutes. So Regne, you can stay, you're welcome. And I want to thank all the other women in the domestic violence for joining us. In a little bit, I know you have to go, some of you, but if you stay with us, that would be great. We have Seth. Seth, tell us a little bit about yourself, because men also experience the domestic violence. And some of these men, I mean, as a man, you can talk about the addictions, because I know you were in that situation. And I think that addiction trends and patterns and behaviors that are continuous behaviors is what affects the relationship of, or people around you, right? So tell us more. Tell us who you are first.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Angelica, and thank you everyone on the panel. I have so much gratitude right now, and I feel so humbled and excited with my fellow speakers and everyone in this room, because we all share the same love, and that's the same love for advocacy. I think we've lost this connection as humanity, and working together as a collective and in communion will only make things better. And I see this commonality, whether we're talking about domestic violence, whether we're talking about addiction, we're talking about the fight against injustice. And that's what we're talking about. My name is Saf. I'm a human behavioral consultant, addiction specialist, media host, author, and a survivor, someone who's survived domestic violence and consequent addiction.
Mm-hmm. What we need to remind people, I'm sorry, Seth, those of you that are just joining, this is the Power Talk, Ask the Expert, and with us, we have amazing men with us. We have Seth, we have Matthew, we have Diego, we have Jorge. But in order for you, you have to decide on the language that you want to listen to. You'll see a little world at the bottom. Select English or select Spanish if you want it to be interpreted in Spanish. So please do that now. Thank you, Seth. So tell us a little more, Seth. I apologize.
No, it's fine. I mean, one thing I want to make it clear that domestic violence is not a gender issue at all, and there aren't many men who actually come out and vocalize domestic violence that they've experienced, because they may be seen as weak, or they may be seen as maybe looked upon or judged in a different kind of way. But domestic violence exists no matter what sex you are. It's a humanity problem, whether it's man on man, man on woman, woman on woman, woman on man. It happens all the time. My personal experience of domestic violence, and I also believe it's not just in relationships, it's whoever you're cohabiting with. And I was sent to boarding school, and for 6 years of my life, every day I was abused physically, racially, sexually, and I was humiliated on a daily basis, and something that no one should ever, have to go through. I went through, and it was all about the code of silence. You're scared to tell anyone. You're scared to tell your parents because you feel like you deserved it. You blame yourself, and it's similar to all domestic violence. So it's something that all men who go through this don't talk about it, and it's time that we talked about. And I'm an advocate for a lot of things, and particularly in addiction, because addiction at the time I thought was the problem. In fact, it was a solution to the problem of the abuse that I was experiencing on a daily basis. And unfortunately, I took it to adult life and got addicted to alcohol, crystal meth and cocaine, and caused a lot of destruction to everyone around me, including myself. And it was all due to the violence and the abuse that I was experiencing for 6 years of my life on a daily basis. Thankfully, I got a lot of help from my wife and my daughter and my son, and got me into rehab. And I haven't looked back since. I've got involved in the advocacy field, in the field of addiction, the field of trauma. I'm a human behavioral consultant now, as I mentioned, a lot of research, a lot of studying, and a lot of work in the professional field. And I'm here to make a difference and to try and give a message of hope to people that there is a way out. And please, please, please talk about it.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing, because those are tough conversations. Again, we're here with the Power Talk, Ask the Expert. with some amazing sheroes and heroes that are telling their story. These are stories that we don't tell, we don't talk about because it's either too embarrassing, it's too, they're hard conversations to have. But we need to have them because they happen. And the only way we can change and we can support each other and help each other is by helping and speaking our voice. I know that both of my children, they lived the domestic violence with me as children, you know, and many times we do it for our loved ones. I was trying to rescue my loved one, and yet I was forgetting my little ones and what they were feeling because we're chasing love, but we forget to love ourselves. So with us, we have Jorge Vasquez. He's sitting right here. He's my oldest. So I'll let him start a little bit with the domestic topic. If you want to share anything, say who you are.
Hi, good morning. I'm Jorge Vasquez. I'm an international author and a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I guess on the topic of domestic violence, both the topic of domestic violence and dealing with my mother having breast cancer, I can tie both of those to learning to gain the strength and courage to step up into a role where I feel helpless or I don't have control of what's going on around me, which caused a lot of stress and anxiety in my life. But through my years on the mat, training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, through the years of focusing on what can I control, what can I do to improve my situation, has really strengthened who I am and what I can teach to others, and how you can navigate through these tough times in life. There is things you can control when life seems chaotic and you cannot control. What are you telling yourself? What are you listening to? Who are you surrounding yourself with that can uplift you? And I feel like my mother, my coach in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, people like this are what helped me get through these times and help me mold into the mindset that, you know, you can control what you're doing and how you can move forward in life with these trying times. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Jorge. And then we also have my son, my youngest is Diego Vasquez. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, good morning, guys. I'm Diego Vasquez. I'm also an international author and a speaker and a championship mindset coach. And pretty much my experience with domestic violence and watching my mom go through cancer was tough, especially being 7 years younger than my big brother, the only two siblings. So I felt alone, like I didn't have anybody or no one was going to take care of me or what to do, but that's okay. You know, I had to open up and talk and express how I feel in order to know what's going to happen. That's the big thing. A lot of the time as kids, we don't know what's going to happen, what's going on, because like my mom said, we're the babies, you know, we get taken care of. They don't want to tell us. The truth hurts at the end of the day. And understanding that I didn't do anything wrong, there was nothing I could do to control what was happening was an important part. And like my brother was saying, it's all about the mental vitamin, the mental vitamins and who you surround yourself with. And that's how you keep going. That's how you continue to fight and continue to support who's around you.
Wow, I want to congratulate if I can, because I'm just listening and thinking in my mind that how smart, because what we do as an adult, we suppress our emotions. And what Diego was just saying is literally going through, feeling it out, and then having the solution there. Congratulations. This is something which so many people take so many years with a psychiatrist to get to that point. So incredible. I think that you have been guided with a higher power. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful feedback. And Angelica, congratulations to have those two fabulous sons. Wow.
Thank you. Thank you. And I push them hard. But this is a little bit of my story. When I saw Diego being so young, putting sticks all over the house to be ready to protect us from a person who was it was a lot of verbal abuse, but it was strong verbal abuse. And then when he actually had to face him and fight, it was time, you know, to break up and leave and stop trying to save someone else that I couldn't have control. Like Jorge says, we only have control of ourselves, what's happening within us. So I do push my kids a lot, and they say I trick them when I have them write a book or show up and talk, but I want them to share their story because they have powerful stories, just like all of you. But we have Matthew Santana also here, who also is an advocate in breast cancer and domestic violence. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Matthew. You're muted.
Hi, I'm Matthew Santana. I am a transitional empowerment life coach, where I help people heal and forgive. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Empowerment to help them heal and forgive, and forgive the people that hurt them and move on so they can have a better future. So I started the Infinite Power Project that empowers women, men, and children to help them, move on from their past, get over that hurt, everything. And with that nonprofit, I written one book, Evolution of a Queen, a Woman of Color, that talks about a woman that, it started from early childhood with the sexual assault, and it moved on to her dating man after man, that would hurt and abuse her. And after that, I had men, you're doing all these things for women. What are you doing to help us? So with that, I came up with the Rebirth of a Woman, Discover Unspoken Secrets, which is a collaboration book that all these different women are telling their stories. And I'm doing the same thing with men, with the From the Heart of a Man that will launch in February, and Fear, My Hidden Truth. So it gives up men the opportunity to speak up and heal themselves. So no matter what you're going through, it would help you change from that fixed mindset to a growth mindset, so you can give that, someone else that power to heal instead of.
Thank you, Matthew. Thank you so much. And with us, we also have Matthew Gardner. And he is also an amazing hero because it's more about breast cancer now. This topic is about breast cancer, and we're shifting a little bit. He had a loved one who had breast cancer and lost her. Tell us, Matthew, because breast cancer is shocking. We go through denial. And tell us a little more, about your experience. And first, tell us who you are, and
all right, well, thank you. So I'm a consciousness coach, and basically what that means is elevating one's level of consciousness to higher levels of awareness while simultaneously achieving goals in the real world and making the world a better place. And I'm the founder of a mastermind called Synchronicity Global, which brings people together to connect, create, and celebrate life. And a lot of this initiative came from my late fiance, who was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2018. And that was just a 2-year journey, really, that I went through with her. And first and foremost, my own personal experience with that, kind of different, because I had a lot of anger initially in being with her, and just to kind of see that happened and saw her really struggling, not knowing exactly what to do. She was in a lot of shock with the situation. and she didn't want to do anything. She was kind of in denial, as you were saying there, Dr. Angelica. And that was a challenge for me because I'm a action taker, I'm a doer, I'm a solutionist, if you will. So I knew there were all these different routes we could take, but she just kind of dug her heels in and she didn't really want to deal with it. Understandably, I entirely get the picture. And so on my end, it's like all this anger. So my own journey was like really coming to peace with that and understanding like she's on her own path and she has to handle it in her own way. So when I got over myself and became, her partner in that and realized, hey, we're in this together and however she wants to approach it, I'm going to fully support her. That was the first phase. And she did end up going through the chemotherapy and surgery route. We tried alternative things, but the cancer was very aggressive and none of it worked. So she had the single mastectomy last June in 2019, did recover. And from that really drew out a brand new part of myself that I felt was always within me, but I never had the opportunity to express. And it really brought our relationship to a whole new level, which was amazing. And from there, we determined that we'd always be together and we'd get married. And we had 4 or 5 really wonderful months together. And then during Christmas last year, she started having bone pain. And then that progressed into a terminal diagnosis in February, and she subsequently passed away in April. So again, I was on the journey this time, not from a place of anger, just from a place of determination to help her get through it, because we'd already done it one time. And it became another catalyst for my own evolution in dealing with the stresses of caregiving for her and dealing with the family members. She had a 23-year-old son, so him and I were working together as a team. And then her mom was involved as well. And it was just a very collaborative process. And in the end, when she passed, it became a catalyst for my own spiritual awareness and growth. And I came to realize that despite our loved ones passing, they don't disappear into nothingness. They're still with us in our hearts, in our minds. And to this day, my fiance, Gail, she supports me. And I connect with her and communicate with her, albeit in an entirely different form. And it really wound up being a blessing for me in disguise. And I don't regret any of the journey. It was an honor to be with her, and it's an honor to share my story with all of you.
Thank you. Thank you, Matthew, because it is a hard situation when you're told you're in cancer. I went through denial. And with me, I know that my son, Jorge, he mentioned to me at one point, I didn't want to do chemo. And he said, Mom, if you die, I'm going to be so mad. And that's when I really thought to myself, I have to do everything that I can to survive, So I did alternative medication. I did everything. And I'll just let him talk a little bit quickly. And what do you want to add to that?
I think I kind of agree on the topic, Matthew. I think I was looking at it as in a selfish kind of perspective, like, what am I gonna do without my mom? How am I going to live? How am I gonna feel with my mom? But like he stated, I had to shift my mind and really put the perspective on what is my mom feeling? What is she going through? What can I do to help and motivate her during these times? I can't bring her down with selfish feelings of, what am I gonna do? So I really connect with that, and I feel like that was a big turning point in dealing with all the emotions I felt with my mom being sick, seeing her go through the chemo, and really shifting and taking that role of being there for her as a strength and courage. And just a small thing I'd like to add was when she didn't want to cut her hair off, that was a big deal for her. And I felt, why don't I cut my hair first? Why don't I take the step first? I know it's going to grow back. And it was even kind of a difficult thing for me because I've never shaved my head. I've always had hair on my head. And I'm like, man, imagine how I feel just as a man with cutting my hair. I can't even imagine what my mom feels like. So I felt, you know, that was a way for me to share the experience with my mom in a sense, and really go on this journey and this battle with her together. Like, I guess a Spartan warrior will put his helmet on. It's time to shave the head and face this head first.
Yeah, it was powerful. They woke me up like at 1:30 in the morning, and he's like, it's time. I'm like, time for what? And they were bald, both of them already. And so I started crying. I was like, no. He's like, yes, Mom, you have to do it. So these boys gave me so much strength during both the domestic violence and the breast cancer. The breast cancer, I think, was tougher for us, right? Don't you think? Mm-hmm. I think it was. Diego, come on live. What would you tell Diego children? Because Diego was very young. I think he was what? 12, or I thought you were 11 or something. He was younger. He learned how to drive really fast because he was working. And then Diego had to sometimes take me to chemo because I had nobody else. We really didn't have family here. So they had to learn things really fast. So tell us, Diego.
There's no specific way that any of us can cope with domestic violence, with cancer. You just got to play the cards you're dealt, and learn from the people around you. I've been blessed since growing up. My mom's always had amazing people around me, help educate me, guide me, mold me into the person I am today. So not everyone's going to get as lucky as me, right? So for the people who have the common trials of not having someone there to talk to, man, journals, jujitsu help, playing sports help. I love going on runs because when your brain is stimulated, that's the only thing you're going to think about at that time. Yeah, pain sucks. The thought of losing your loved ones are awful, but take advantage of the time you have with them. Let them know that they're loved, and bring peace to yourself in the situation that you're in. Don't be hard on yourself. Don't give up. Don't give up on yourself either. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Seth or Matthews, both Matthews, do you have anything to say before we shift to the Spanish panel?
Yeah, I just, my final experience with that really was about it being my own spiritual journey, and I was on the path with my fiance. And once I took that spot beside her, rather than being selfish about it, that's when I really got I'm going to say benefit, in the sense that I really got to grow and evolve myself in terms of what Matthew was saying about fixed mindset to growth mindset. That was a mission critical experience for me, and really allowed me to reach a fuller potential in being a man, in being a human being, and in being a caregiver for humanity. So it's a very powerful experience to go through something like that.
Yeah.
I know that I have, witnessed on hand, both domestic violence and people that have cancer. And that's why I started the nonprofit for domestic violence and sexual assault. And then I have just, someone reached out to me seeing the work that I do, and they have a breast cancer line that's coming out called Ladies Man's Clothing. And it's for women with breast cancer. And some of the proceeds go to a cancer foundation so we can help give back. So with both of these organizations, that's all we want to do is help others get back to the person that they used to be, move on to have a better future.
Thank you, Matthew. Seth? That's it. You're on mute, Seth.
Hi, sorry, just to finish, firstly, some of the stories have been incredible and been quite emotional for me to hear, because my mother also passed away from all different types of cancer throughout her body, so I can totally resonate to everything. But in regards to domestic violence, I would like to finish by saying men abuse women, women abuse men, men abuse men, women abuse women. it's not a gender issue, it's a human issue, and we need to start talking about it. And if we're serious about tackling it, we need to take a step change in our approach towards domestic abuse. And the first step is to encourage women and men who have been abused to come out and seek help and talk about it. Blessed to be on this panel, really, really grateful, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just want to thank all the men and everybody who's been sharing so far. It's been a blessing. This is the Power Talk Ask the Expert live stream. We have two amazing organizations. We're working together. The World Women Conference and Awards with Regne Senecas, who is the founder, and she's here. And we also have the Three Gaia, which is Teresa Gibson and Francesca Richardson, that are also supporting me in this whole thing. And of course, the Texas chapter tribe of the World Women Conference and Awards. I mean, they've been part of this whole organization and helping putting it together. So I'm just going to say, those of you that are just joining, make sure that you select a language. It's either English you want to hear or Spanish. What I am going to do for a few minutes, because the next group is a Spanish group, I am going to start speaking Spanish. So I'm going to move to the Spanish group, and we're going to have an interpreter interpreting in English. So I could really speak my language with these amazing women. Regne, you're welcome to shift in the language zone if you like. It's down at the bottom. So you'll still be hearing somebody interpreting, and don't leave. Language is beautiful, and we have to bring in our Latinas, because I am a Latina and I can't leave that group of amazing women out. So I'm going to shift for now, but you still will be hearing it in English.
Van a seguir oyéndolo en inglés.
Ok, bienvenidas a estas maravillosas mujeres. Tenemos a Beatriz, a Rose, a Ana Gabriela y a Marie. Gracias por estar aquí con nosotros. Si quieren unmute yourselves, quiten el micrófono para que se puedan escuchar. Vamos a empezar con Beatriz. Beatriz, habla, si puedes presentarte, introducir quién eres, y luego empezamos introduciendo a todas.
Claro, buenos días, Angélica, y a todas las mujeres hermosas que están aquí. Estoy en San Antonio, Texas. Soy también parte del grupo de la Conferencia del Mundo de Mujeres, y también soy empresario de una compañía que se llama Ingeniería para el Éxito Académico, y estoy orgullosa de ser parte de este grupo.
Gracias. Y luego tenemos a Rose Delan.
Hola, ¿cómo están? Pues saludos desde Guadalajara. Estoy muy contenta de estar con ustedes. Yo, soy hipnoterapeuta y también me he especializado en la parte de la creatividad y la conexión con el entorno. Los he estado escuchando, todas las personas que he escuchado, híjoles, maravilloso, se me abre el corazón con todo lo que han dicho. De hecho, quiero retomar uno de los temas que estaba diciendo. No sé si ahorita sea el momento de decirlo.
Si quieres, nos introducimos y luego regresamos.
Sí.
Ok, gracias.
Gracias.
Tenemos a Ana Gabriela Robles.
Hola, mucho gusto, un placer estar aquí, Angélica. Bueno, pues yo soy una especialista en transformación profunda, soy consultora también, autora, trabajo en el concepto de sustentabilidad y con mujeres sustentabilidad íntima. Y bueno, pues apoyo a mujeres trabajando desde la perspectiva de la medicina vibracional, y apoyándolas a que realmente puedan encontrar qué vibración se puso fuera de sincronía con su vida para que puedan realinearse y, honrando los ciclos, encontrar la sanación profunda.
Ok, muchas gracias. Tatiana Ochoa, yo sé que estás aquí en el grupo, pero no te vemos. Si puedes levantar tu mano para que te puedan traer al grupo, por favor, levanta tu mano si estás aquí, porque muchas veces tienen otro nombre y no te encuentran. También con nosotros tenemos a Marie Gómez. Marie Gómez, gracias por estar con nosotros. Estuve yo en su conferencia y fui parte de tu evento. Muchas gracias por haberme invitado. Y dinos un poquito de ti.
Ok, mi nombre es Mari Gómez, estoy de San Antonio, Texas, soy sobreviviente de cáncer de pecho, 3 años. Tenemos una fundación que asistemos a los pacientes que están pasando por cáncer y les ayudamos con las cosas de todos los días, porque aunque te toque el cáncer o no, la vida sigue. Tienes que seguir siendo mamá, tienes que seguir siendo esposa, trabajando, y es lo que nosotros ayudamos.
Sí, muchas gracias. Ok, Rose, ¿qué nos ibas a contar? Algo de que te impactó de una de las conversaciones.
Sí, referente a lo que platicaba tu hijo Diego Vázquez, realmente cuando nosotros estamos pequeños es cuando también nos sentimos tan vulnerables como lo dijo, o sea, me encantó cómo lo platicó. Yo también en ese momento, cuando yo estaba pequeña, yo también me sentí muy vulnerable porque estaba pasando por una situación de divorcio de mis padres. Entonces, yo veía cómo mi papá pues tenía abuso contra mi mamá de alguna forma, o sea, yo me escondía en el closet y yo estaba, pero con miedo, y aparte yo fui como muy, me sentía muy abandonada, entonces yo tuve que trabajar esa parte de abandono, de no sentirme suficiente para, o sea, para mí misma. Crecí y volví a caer en el mismo patrón, volví a caer en una situación de una pareja que abusaba, una pareja, pero yo o sea, después me di cuenta que ahí ya cuando entendí, empecé a estudiar y empecé a adentrarme en mi corazón, a adentrarme en lo que la vida me traía, que era el ser más consciente, el ser más consciente de mí. Yo entendí que realmente tenemos que enseñar esta parte de ser más, más abiertos al entorno también, de no sentirnos solos. ¿Por qué? Porque también está interactuar con los elementos. Yo interactúo mucho con los elementos, con el agua, con la tierra, con el fuego, con el viento. Y dentro de esta interacción es mostrar que dentro de cada elemento hay un poder. Mi tema es el poder de la palabra. Entonces, ¿cómo utilizar la palabra con estos elementos de poder y no sentirnos también de alguna manera como abandonados? Claro. Conectándonos también con nuestra parte divina, con Dios, con nuestra divinidad. Y hay algo que yo entendí en la hipnoterapia, que es nosotros vivimos bajo estos patrones que vamos almacenando en nuestro inconsciente. Entonces todo el tiempo estamos entre un mar, entre una selva, ¿no? Estamos tratando de sobrevivir. Entonces yo quiero transformar esta palabra de sobrevivencia a supervivencia. Cuando estamos en supervivencia es cuando ya entendemos a conectar con esta sabiduría, con las soluciones y soluciones que están en nuestro inconsciente, porque nuestro inconsciente es el depósito de soluciones nuevas y por eso hay que reaprender a modificar nuestras palabras. Y cómo nosotros vamos diciendo, cómo nosotros nos referimos a lo que hacemos normalmente como resentimiento, o sea, el sentir resentimiento que nos causa no dormir, rabia, rencor, rechazo, represión, todo esto que nos lleva a un ciclo donde no estamos ni a gustos con nosotros mismos, ni a gustos con el entorno. Entonces, la finalidad de mi labor es hacer esta conexión interna con el poder de la palabra, ir a liberar estos procesos emocionales de que eres tú como tu fuerza más poderosa, que es tu yo soy. Y muchas veces nosotros decimos, pero ¿quién soy? Por ejemplo, yo me nominé Delan Rose, que a final de cuentas es como un masculino femenino porque es de mis papás. Pero yo hice un trabajo inconsciente. Yo digo que el trabajo se hace en 3 fases: consciente, inconsciente y con actos simbólicos, para que haya una verdadera sanación del alma, sanación del cuerpo y podamos seguir avanzando.
Claro. Pues gracias, Rose, porque yo sé que mis hijos también se escondían y una vez los encontré en el chat de allá afuera. Yo búsquelos y ellos allá escondidos por lo mismo de violencia doméstica que ellos tenían miedo. Pero también tenemos aquí a Tatiana Ochoa y ella está muy involucrada con, este grupo es un poquito de los dos, de conversación de violencia doméstica y de cáncer del seno. Y yo sé, Tatiana, que tú tienes, o sea, son tus pláticas, es tu enfoque para ayudarles a mujeres que están involucradas en violencia doméstica. Si puedes introducirte, por favor, más que estás en mute y luego nos
¿Me
dices.
escuchan?
Sí, ya te escuchamos.
¿Sí? ¿Me escuchan bien? ¿Tengo buen audio?
Sí, ajá, se escucha
bueno.
bien. Ajá.
Perfecto. Bueno, primero que todo, pues disculpas porque creo que llegué un poco tarde. Estaba confundida con el horario y no estaba segura cuál horario iba a ser. Yo pensé que entrábamos a las 11:30, así que disculpas por eso.
No, está bien.
Bueno, muchas gracias. Y bueno, un poquito de mí y rápido para honrar el tiempo de todos nosotros. Mi nombre es Tatiana Lamas, o muchos como mi nombre, Ochoa también. Y lo que hago en este momento es estar al frente de una organización que ayuda a las víctimas de violencia doméstica y víctimas de crímenes violentos dentro de los Estados Unidos a que conozcan sus derechos, a que sepan que no están solas y que puedan romper el silencio. Es una organización, ya lleva muchísimos años en Estados Unidos y tiene un gran grupo de abogados especialistas en estos temas para aquellas víctimas, mujeres, niños, hombres, puedan conocer exactamente qué pueden hacer si son víctimas de una situación como esta y puedan ser elegibles para un alivio migratorio, que también son sus derechos aquí en Estados Unidos. Y bueno, un poco de mí. Me encanta trabajar con la meditación. Esa es la parte que trabajo, yo creo que es mi pasión. Soy educadora por vocación, me encanta educar, creo que es la parte más importante del ser, educarnos, crecer en conocimiento, en amor, la compasión ante todo. Y bueno, esa parte es, creo que acá hay un gran ramillete de personas entre hombres y mujeres que estamos en la misma comunión. Y me encantaría escucharlos a todos también, tener esa pequeña parte, escucharlos y saber con quién estoy interactuando el día de hoy.
Gracias, Tatiana. Beatriz, dinos un poquito, porque muchas veces estamos cuando sabemos que un familiar tiene cáncer. Yo sé que tu papá tuvo cáncer y murió de cáncer, pero muchas veces no lo aceptamos, ¿verdad? ¿Qué pasó con también mis hijos? Dinos un poquito de tu historia y cómo impacta a los hijos que están recibiendo este mensaje.
Sí, claro, cuando estaba hablando con Angélica sobre este tema, estaba pensando mucho en la realidad, ¿verdad? De lo que representa cáncer. Y creo que la experiencia más dura es la negación a la esperanza, ¿verdad? Estar pensando, pues, ¿qué va a pasar? ¿Va a sobrevivir un ser querido? No nomás mi papá, pero he tenido tías y primas que también han pasado por cáncer, ¿verdad? Pero no todos las experiencias son negativas, ¿verdad? Hay muchos que sí pueden sobrevivir. Y sabiendo eso, no negar por lo que está pasando uno, los hijos, la esposa, los nietos, todo eso es difícil, ¿verdad? Pero también no negar que también hay soluciones y hay esperanza para llegar. Y eso ya fue para mí hace más de 20 años, ¿verdad? Yo sé que hemos hecho muchos advances ¿verdad? En el tema de medicina, pero es muy importante admitir que al principio cuando oímos la palabra cáncer, negamos eso, ¿verdad? Y es importante como familia para descubrir y comentar y hacer discusiones, ¿verdad? Tener esas pláticas que son difíciles, pero también saber que muchas veces ya hay esperanza.
Claro, sí, gracias, Beatriz. Sí, porque cuando escuchan la palabra cáncer, siempre pensamos que le pasa a alguien más, menos a nuestra propia familia o a nosotras, ¿verdad, Mari? Porque yo sé que tú, Mari, tuviste cáncer. Dinos un poquito de tu historia.
Bueno, a mí me pasó casi 3 años. Un poquito fresco todavía en la memoria, ¿verdad?
Está bien.
Y yo estaba en la mejor salud que yo había estado en toda mi vida. Nosotros no tenemos historia en nuestra familia sobre cáncer. La menor de 10 hijos. Mis padres tuvieron 10 hijos. Y 3 años, hace 3 años, me dieron las noticias que yo tenía cáncer. Y era muy, sí me puse a... Realmente yo no me negué que es lo que tenía, pero yo nomás primeramente quería saber, ok, esto es lo que tengo, ¿qué es mi plan? ¿Qué es el siguiente paso para seguir adelante? Porque a mí me gusta, a mí me gusta saber qué es el plan, qué es lo que voy a hacer el día, cómo voy a sobrevivir, cómo voy a sobrepasar esta situación. Y era un poquito difícil, mis hijos estaban jóvenes, el más chiquito tenía 18 años, pero como quiera, como madre todavía te necesito, aunque estén grandes y tienen sus propias vidas, por la escuela o estudiando. Era un poquito difícil, pero gracias a Dios yo tuve mucho apoyo. Tengo una familia muy grande y tenemos muchas amistades. Todos ellos vinieron y nos ayudaron. A mis hermanas a limpiar la casa, a atenderme a mí, mis papás, cada operación que tenía, aquí estaban. Cada operación. Y el apoyo es muy importante. Importante porque nos ayudaba para mí, saber que ellos estaban ahí. Aunque a veces nomás venían y me miraban dormir cuando estaba recuperando de cada operación, porque tuve 6 en 2 años. Era un poquito difícil tratar de seguir, levantarte, hacer todas las cosas de lo que tienes que hacer. Pero gracias a Dios ya entre 3 años ya estoy mejor, estoy bien. Y es lo que nos motivó para sacar esta fundación que nosotros tenemos, para ayudar a otras mujeres que no son afortunadamente como yo, que tuvimos tanto apoyo, para las familiares que vinieron, nos ayudaron. Muchas mujeres no tienen ese apoyo. Nosotros queremos tratar de hacer para ellos.
Claro. Sí, el apoyo es lo más grande porque yo soy una mujer fuerte y yo siempre pensé, entre menos ayuda pedía, me sentía que era una gran mujer. Y entre más ayuda pedía, sentía que era menos, ¿verdad? Trataba de no pedir, no sé por qué tenía esa creencia. Pero cuando tuve cáncer, tuve que doblegarme y hacerme fuerte para pedir ayuda, especialmente porque mis niños estaban chicos, necesitaba que me llevaran al quimo, a radiation. Las trabajadoras me mandaron comida porque pues no quieres ni hacer comida y especialmente cuando no tienes familiares local es más difícil. Mis hermanas llegaron a venir a ayudarme. Entiendo completamente del apoyo, es algo grandísimo. En los dos casos, en el caso de violencia doméstica, como cuando estás teniendo un tipo de cáncer, es muy importante que si nos están escuchando, que pidan ayuda, ¿verdad? Pidan ayuda. Hay muchas comunidades, como Tatiana tiene su organización que ella ayuda, está Marie Gómez, está Ragnes Cínicas, y están muchas otras mujeres aquí con nosotros que están aquí apoyando a la comunidad. Y nosotras estamos ayudando a la comunidad global. Aquí estamos ayudándolos. Así que no se sientan solas. Yo sé que Ana Gabriela habla de un tema muy especial que yo adoro también porque Ana Gabriela, yo sé sobre las energías, que todo es energía. y si uno no toma decisiones diferentes, si no cambiamos nuestro pensamiento, todo eso es energía y todo eso cambia nuestra salud. So, dinos un poquito más de ese tema de energía.
Let me unmute. Ok. Pues sí, es todo un tema que conforme las escucho estoy reconstruyendo como mi propia historia alrededor del cáncer. No personalmente, mi abuela lo tuvo y falleció a esta enfermedad. Y hablando, bueno, de las energías, cuando hablamos de las energías relacionadas con este tipo de enfermedades, mucho de la investigación y de la práctica nos habla de que hay algún evento traumático, y esto nos lo dice mucho la medicina germánica, ¿no? Hay un evento traumático que sucede en nuestras vidas y para cada quien el nivel de trauma pues es diferente, y esto puede derivar en un bloqueo energético que empieza a generar esta historia de la reproducción de las células diferentes, ¿no? Que pueden tener diferentes características, y yo veo un vínculo muy fuerte entre estos dos temas que estás tejiendo el día de hoy, ¿no? Entre la violencia doméstica y el cáncer mama también. Entonces, cuando tenemos estos shocks y cuando tenemos estos impactos muy fuertes en la vida, a veces ni siquiera nos damos cuenta, no los atendemos, y desde el espacio de la vibración empieza a generarse como una baja frecuencia en nuestro cuerpo. Generalmente lo que hacemos, como decía Rose, es que esto lo guardamos en el inconsciente porque no queremos lidiar con esta situación para seguir avanzando en la vida, porque la vida no para. Pero desde ahí se genera esta baja vibración que después se va convirtiendo en enfermedad poco a poco hasta que llega a encarnarse y a convertirse en un cáncer o en otras cosas. Entonces, trabajar desde esta perspectiva vibracional implica sí entrar a explorar lo que está guardado en el inconsciente para poder regresar al punto de shock y liberarlo desde la raíz, y que sea como una sanación integral. Por supuesto, cuando ya tenemos la enfermedad puesta, cuando ya le ponemos nombre y apellido, desde donde yo acompaño a las mujeres, que es trabajando pues con cristales, con obsidiana y con procesos como un coaching de reflexión estructurada para poder llegar a ese lugar y liberar el trauma, yo siempre sugiero trabajar con las dos alternativas. Jamás le recomendaría yo a una mujer que ya tiene el nombre y el apellido como cáncer para su enfermedad solamente utilizar terapias alternativas o terapias de acompañamiento, sino que a la par uno puede ir trabajando con todo el protocolo médico alopático para atender la enfermedad, al mismo tiempo que trabajar con el tema vibratorio, con el tema energético, para que realmente la sanación se cobre profundamente, porque también estudios de muchos médicos que se han dado cuenta que hay una reincidencia en cánceres de diferentes zonas, sobre todo en mujeres, cuando no se hace el trabajo profundo, porque una cosa es quitarlo con todos estos protocolos y estas operaciones en donde estoy con ustedes y aprecio toda la vulnerabilidad que han traído este panel, pero en ocasiones cuando no se hace el trabajo profundo hay mucha reincidencia, y entonces desde donde yo he podido observar este fenómeno, porque cada vez es más evidente en la sociedad, es muy importante también tener este acompañamiento suave, este acompañamiento que nos lleve a ver dónde se originó el problema real, para poder liberar todas esas energías de baja vibración del ser y restablecer completamente la salud.
Sí, y sabes que cuando yo tuve cáncer, una de las prácticas que hice era la meditación, y cuando te entraba ese temor y ese miedo, me ponía en el estado de meditación para realmente ver qué es lo que sentía mi cuerpo, qué emociones tenía, y como se dice, disculpa Azucena y Tania, pero como se dice en inglés, face your monsters, o sea, ¿cómo se dice en español?
Vencer tus monstruos internos.
Ándale, tienes que ver esos monstruos internos y decir, ¿qué es lo que estoy sintiendo? Y verlos y luego poner mi mente en blanco.
Es correcto. Y a veces llegar a verlos, Angélica, es como parte del trabajo, porque muchas veces esos monstruos viven en el inconsciente y poder llegar a esos espacios y poder hacer lo que nosotros llamamos el encendido hipérico, ¿no? Poder traer al presente ese momento desde los 3 espacios del cerebro, ¿no? Todo el recuerdo que tenemos en el neocórtex y cómo lo hemos acomodado ahí, cómo ese recuerdo del shock que nos genera esta enfermedad o de cómo empezaron a crecer esos monstruos, cómo reside también en el sistema límbico, que es esta otra parte más encargada de las sensaciones en nuestro cerebro, y cómo hay otras partes que se van hasta el tallo cerebral, en donde solamente residen estas sensaciones. Entonces, ir a buscar en esta exploración al inconsciente dónde y cómo quedaron acomodados en cada uno para que podamos reunificar ese momento del shock, que es mucho antes, que sucede de 2 a 3 años antes de que se nos diagnostica la enfermedad, ¿no? Para realmente liberar esa energía de baja densidad y poder, pues, abrazar el acompañamiento desde todas las perspectivas y con todos los cuerpos, no nada más desde el cuerpo físico y mental en las personas.
Claro. Y yo sé que como que sufrí las dos, el violencia doméstica y el cáncer de seno, yo pienso que también eso se desarrolló por tanto coraje, tanta ¿cómo se dice? Intimidation que yo sentía, disculpa Susana y Tania, esas emociones estancadas en mi cuerpo, yo pienso que realmente crearon el cáncer. Rose, ¿qué ibas a decir?
Sí, yo retomando el tema de la supervivencia, pienso que todos debemos de aprender a utilizar estos niveles de nuestro inconsciente, que son 4. Entonces, el nivel alfa es cuando nosotros estamos relajados, que es cuando estamos hablando de meditaciones, de estar tranquilos, serenos. El nivel beta es cuando nosotros estamos alerta a nuestras respuestas motoras. Aquí es donde viene el trabajo interno de todos nosotros. Tenemos que estar alertas de cómo nos estamos sintiendo respecto a otra situación. Ese es el trabajo personal y es el más fuerte y es el que menos hacemos porque somos flojos de repente. Yo tengo que estarlo haciendo diario, o sea, porque esa es una labor personal, es una labor que todo el tiempo tenemos que estar transformando nuestra mente. El Teira, este es el profundo, es en el que vienes a modificar tus patrones, los patrones más profundos, y este es el que da las nuevas sensaciones a los sucesos. Eso es lo que tenemos que transformar, porque aquí es donde se sanan las sensaciones reprimidas y les damos salida de una forma evolutiva y pacifista. Cuando nosotros dejamos de sentir ese rechazo o ese enojo, ya sea a la enfermedad, porque también a la enfermedad es un enojo, es una forma de también decirle a nuestras células, porque es una comunicación que nosotros tenemos que entender, que la comunicación es desde nuestras células, desde lo más pequeño de nosotros hacia afuera. Claro. Entonces aquí ya estamos en supervivencia. Y el último es el delta. El delta es el sueño, que es lo que yo digo, jamás dejemos de soñar, jamás dejemos de pensar en lo que podemos lograr, en que las cosas se pueden realizar de una forma como jamás se lo hubieran creído ustedes. La cosa es que nosotros nos trabajemos día con día con el poder de nuestra palabra y haciendo esta interacción de los elementos, también de que no estamos solos, porque aquí inclusive que no hay nada, pero es el aire, es el espacio, es la recepción. Todos nosotros estamos ahorita conectados a través de nuestro corazón y estamos aquí compartiendo, y la gente que nos está escuchando es una red hermosa. Exacto. Entonces hay que escucharnos más también.
Gracias. Y Tatiana, no sé si quieres decir algo para cerrar.
Bueno, sí, gracias por darme la palabra. Las estaba escuchando y pues, a ver, en mi opinión, la parte de que cuando a alguien le toca una enfermedad como esta, y hablando del cáncer, que es una enfermedad difícil de tratar, ¿cierto? yo creo que ahora escuchándote, Angélica, que has tenido las dos situaciones juntas, la violencia doméstica y el cáncer, yo no podría opinar desde mi punto de vista esa parte porque ninguna de las dos las he sufrido y creo que escuchándote he aprendido algunas cosas muy bonitas acerca de cómo es que has logrado manejar esto de una manera tan positiva, qué bonito. Y voy a hablarlo desde mi punto de vista sin tocar emociones, porque creo que esa parte todavía estoy en el aprendizaje de saber cómo hablar. Pero voy a hablar acerca de una experiencia que viví con alguien que le tocó la misma situación de violencia doméstica y me transmitió eso. Y desde ahí, desde ese punto yo lo voy a ver, o creo que lo voy a empezar a mirar. ¿Cómo puede una víctima salir de esta situación de emocional? ¿Cómo puede curarse tanto de una enfermedad del cáncer como una enfermedad emocional, que es la violencia que toca tu corazón? Cuando la violencia toca no solamente el cuerpo, sino el alma. Entonces ahí es donde viene una gran enfermedad.
Claro.
Porque es donde tú estás realmente lastimada, el alma. Te han roto el alma. Y una enfermedad como la violencia y una enfermedad como el cáncer, que toca el cuerpo físico, y es sin tocar la energía, obviamente que también sé que parte de eso. Hay que, en mis respetos para las personas que pasan por ese aprendizaje y nos están dando esta gran lesión de vida, porque es algo que realmente no se puede hablar si no has pasado por ella. A través de otras personas es que tú puedes hablar si no has pasado por esa situación. Y por eso en esta parte me atrevo a decir, cuando me senté con esta persona, me pudo transmitir algo muy poderoso y lo quiero dejar aquí antes para cerrar. Le hice la pregunta a esta persona, ¿cómo pudiste tú sanar de la violencia después de 30 años de violencia? 30 años es una vida. Y me dijo, cambié mi corazón. Y cuando leí, o sea, pero realmente lo hizo, o sea, nació de nuevo. Y cuando dijo esa palabra, a veces uno la dice de aquí, no es, a veces cuando uno la dice de acá, uno siente cuando no es verdadero.
Sí.
Y ella sí. Y esa es la clave. Esta es la clave. Transformar, hacer un trasplante de corazón.
Claro.
Cuando tú haces un trasplante de corazón, hablando científicamente, neurocientíficamente, energéticamente, meditativamente y en todos los aspectos, tú te sanas, tú cambias, tú es de nuevo otra persona. Entonces no hay una situación, sino el aprender de nuevo y empezar de nuevo como otra persona, eso sí, con el aprendizaje, porque ese aprendizaje es la que te hace una mujer de sabiduría, una mujer de empoderamiento, una mujer que puede hablar de esos temas y ayudar a otras personas. Me da mucho gusto que me hayas invitado.
Y
estoy muy
muchas
contenta de
gracias.
participar.
Muchas gracias, porque voy a hablar en inglés ahora, me voy a
Claro.
cambiar en el otro canal porque hay las otras mujeres que quiero incluirlas, pero aún así quiero que se quede este panel aquí para hablar sobre el cáncer, ¿verdad?
Cancer.
So thank you. Now I shifted to the English channel and they're going to continue listening to me, but I want to welcome the other amazing women, Pat, Helenique, Tanya, Rose, Teresa, Michelle, that have joined us. I hope we didn't leave anybody else out. If we did, please raise your hand so we can bring you in. But we've been having powerful conversations in the Power Talk live stream where two amazing organizations have come together, the World Women Conference and Awards and the three Gaias have come together, as well as the Texas tribe of Texas that represent the World Women Conference and Awards. So I'm so happy that we're here. And then globally, like globally, we have come from around the world. Many, many women and men have come from all over the place to talk about two topics that are very, very sensitive, which is domestic violence and breast cancer. And I have sheroes and heroes here. And I do want to invite people to join us, because in December, we've been talking about healing the wounds. How do we heal the wounds? We have the inner healer inside us, and we have to tap into that inner healer in order to heal the wounds and be able to live the now, because it's so hard. We're always living in the future, or we're living in the past, but we never live the present. And in this amazing retreat that we're going to have all these amazing people that you've seen here. And not only, we're not just going to talk like we have today. We're going to take you deep, in a deep healing. We're going to have processes and strategies, and we're going to have that inner talk conversation where you go within and you tap into that inner healer, so you find your own medicine kit and you begin to use it to heal the emotional wounds, the mind, emotions, the physical part of you too. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce Hellenique. Hellenique, tell us where you're from, Hellenique, and thank you for being here. You're on silent, mute. You're muted.
Thank you so much to everybody, all the wonderful, amazing, inspiring people that have spoken so far. I have 7 minutes left on my laptop, so I will speak just for these minutes. And thank you so much for pulling this all together, Dr. Angelica. It's very inspiring to know that we are here to help, support, and administer kind of levels of wisdom and learnings that each one of us have had on this pathway through what I call the valley of darkness. I myself have had the diagnosis a few years ago of breast cancer, and it was a very shocking experience for me. I was very healthy, very vegetarian. I was teaching yoga. I was a clinical psychologist, and I was meditating for 10 years. So the shock of having the disease after my sister had been diagnosed was very traumatic. And I want to just jump to the very powerful transformation and the deep teachings that I think this diagnosis can bring. Just a quick note on all the discussions we had about domestic violence and this very difficult discussion that we're having today. I think is really illuminating very important realities that we all have to at some point in our lives deal with whatever comes our way. And of course, this is the same with diagnosis like breast cancer. When I found out, I realized I needed to go very deep. As a psychologist, I wanted to understand why me, why now, why here. And I really came to this conclusion that it is a very profound initiation into a higher truth and value for oneself and for life. And a deeper knowing and understanding of how this universe works as a co-creative process, not something that we are in charge of and not something that we necessarily can decide about, but our chi, our life force, has a chance to exit this life when we have a disease. And I think this was for me the most powerful and the most traumatic reality, was to realize that there's a kind of denial in breast cancer or any kind of cancer where internally we have a desire to exit. Some people call it, Dr. Hancock calls it, an internal form of suicide. So having to look very deeply at what is this part of me that wants to end life that I'm not even conscious of, that I have to work through the layers of the unconscious, we've been saying it so often today, to actually penetrate into consciousness, this desire to bring the life force back in and to decide to either live or to leave. And I think the way the medical model deals with all of these kinds of diagnoses is doing the best it can, but unfortunately doesn't meet the deeper need of what I believe is a metaphysical experience into all the layers of who we are and all the vibrational levels of healing that our beautiful guest was talking about, Anna. So with that, for me, it was a very empowering time, as it was traumatic at the same time. And I think this was the most difficult thing, was to decide whether I really wanted to heal and how I was going to do that in a way that felt right to me in my own form of alignment with my own values and decisions about life. And I learned a few things which I want to share with everybody. The first was to ask for help. At the deepest level, I never asked for help. And at this time, I learned how important it is to ask for help and how important it is to be able to connect your body with your mind. And I've been very much in my mind. I'm a very creative person. I'm very into research. I spend lots of time really giving permission to my mind to take me where I want to go. But at this point, I really needed to get more connected to what the body wanted. Even though I was a dancer, very connected to my body, I realized I needed to have more of this integration happening. So a very important thing that I learned as well is that as a world, we need to assist each other and ourselves to integrate our knowledge. And so this is what I stand for today. I run a movement called Women of Truth, which is really a supportive process to help women deal with the deeper truth of why we are struggling to have more alignment, more power, more decision, more visibility, and to also then acknowledge that we have this incredible legacy from the past. Through antiquity, we've had incredible processes that have supported us, and somehow we've been dislocated from them and we need to reactivate them. And I think breast cancer is just symptomatic of the fact that we've been cut off from our own spiritual power and our spiritual legacy.
Absolutely.
So
Thank you, Helene.
thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to hearing the rest of the guests if I still be around. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks. And our next guest is Tanya Simmons. Thank you, Tanya. Tanya works with and sees a lot of women that are going in getting treatments in the oncology area. So tell us a little more about you, Tanya, and then tell us about what you see when it comes to breast cancer.
Yeah, Helene, thank you so much. That was wonderful. Thank you, everybody, to the panelists. Dr. Angelica, thank you so much for the invite. It's such an honor and a blessing to be able to give people hope. I think the bottom line, my name is Tanya Simmons. I'm a professor, but I also have had, my background is neuroscience oncology, ENT oncology, and in nursing. And I'm currently doing my FMP, but I love what I do, y'all. I just love serving people. I love helping people, making a difference in whatever capacity that would be. I also have personal experience, not in regards to me personally with cancer, but I have served the population for over 10 plus years now. I have seen so much, whether it be breast cancer, brain cancer, whether it be pancreatic, all sorts of different types. The bottom line that I feel like people need the most is hope. That's the bottom line. I mean, people need hope. And the big question is, how can we impact people individually with hope? And so I have seen, I don't know if you guys know who Dr. Caroline Leaf is, but if you do, she is amazing. Heard her in a bunch of multiple seminars, and she is a leading neuroscientist. And she was talking about how even your positive words and your negative words impact your dendrites, right? And how they can actually decrease your dendrites, the negativity or positivity, words of healing, words of hope, words of life can actually increase the dendrites and bring healing. And many studies have shown that, meditation, prayer, whatever, those key elements to our spirituality, as well as that's why love is so powerful. Okay, love, we all need love for physically. It does things to us physically. Oxytocin releases hormones, decreases blood pressure, elevates anxiety, increases all sorts of endorphins, dopamine, etc. We all know that, right? That's why we can speak words of life or we can speak words of death. And I've experienced multiple things in abuse in regards to emotional, sexual, some domestic violence. My grandparents, my grandfather experienced colon cancer. My grandmother experienced breast cancer. She had a double mastectomy. And so looking back on these things, I think the bottom line in dealing with these patients in day in and day out is people need hope. They need acts of kindness. They need words of compassion. They need love. Love affects us in so many ways, decreases inflammation, which increases cytokines, so to speak. We see this in clinical studies, the power, the impact of love. The bottom line is, when we speak, when we watch the words that we speak, I think our words are containers. They carry things. They make impacts on others. We even see that in quantum physics. In fact, we see that when we speak, it actually changes the energy around us. It does different things. And so that's why there have been studies on plants per se. Plants, when we speak life, when we give love to plants, what happens? They blossom, they bloom, they increase. It's the same thing with our souls, our very souls. Our souls need love to grow, to be strengthened, to nurture, to receive, to give love freely. And our emotions are directly related to our physical being. Why is that? Well, look at it, laughter. When we laugh a lot, what happens? That's why cancer patients, they watch lots of comedies. It's actually recommended. Why is that? Because when people laugh a lot, what happens? It actually increases the immune system, right? I mean, we all, obviously most of us have heard that, but these things are powerful. People need love. People need connection, especially when they're going through such a hard time. Look at us during COVID, you guys. I mean, COVID has been a period of intense isolation. People have become depressed, and some mental health is on the mental health issues are on the rise. Suicide, homicides, people need connection. We are created for healthy connection. And where there is not healthy connection, where there is toxic relationships, it does affect our physical bodies. We see how our emotions affect our physical bodies. When we get anxious, when we get angry, our blood pressure rises, those things of those nature. I feel very strongly about this because people need to have an awareness of how we treat others. That's the bottom line. How we treat others. Domestic violence, I do absolutely believe that, for instance, I'll give you a personal testimony. When I was going through one of the roughest times of my life, I was in a real toxic relationship. It was actually a marriage. And I became 7 months pregnant. And at that point, I knew I had to make a decision. And I left that marriage. And my parents are pastors. And they said, we support you 110%. You need to get out. I got out. At the same time, I found, my self-esteem was being brought down. I wasn't even the same person. My friends didn't know who I was. I felt broken on the inside. In the morning, I would have to look at myself in the mirror, remind myself who I was, encourage myself, talk to myself, almost kind of like doing surgery on my soul myself. So to speak. And I know those of you who have been through something like that understand what I mean. These are wounds that are so deep that no one sees them. They're on the inside. And, you try to explain it and, it's really hard. So I found myself in that situation. At the same time, I found out I had a tumor growing on the inside of me as well. Oh, wow. And so I realized I had a baby. I was on bedridden. I almost lost her twice. I had 2 children because my first husband had passed away when I was 22. And he was 26 at the time. I knew what was going on as far as my emotions affecting my physical body. And I really do believe, because of the anger and the suppressed emotions on the inside of me, that tumor started to grow. And in regards to that, make a long story short, they weren't sure if the tumor was going to take the blood supply from the baby, and so that was a thing to walk through. But I have my beautiful little girl. She's now 11, and I told myself, if someone could be helped because of what I've been through, I definitely will share it. And that's why Mr. Saf Buxy and other survivors and champions on this line, I think we have the same heart, is the fact that if whatever we've been through, it's not just for us, right? It is for others. It is to help others. It is to bring awareness to others. It is in some way, some form, some fashion. Look what Oprah Winfrey's been, she went through. My goodness gracious. And she turned that into victory after victory after victory. So it's a choice, I think. It's a choice of, I refuse to be a victim. I'm a victor, and let's see how many people I'm going to help in and through these challenges and empower others. So now I do empower people all over the globe. It's the grace. I am a Christian too. And, whether you're a Christian, whether you're not, we all need love. The bottom line is we all have that fundamental need of love. Right. Love is good for the soul. Love is good for the spirit. Love is good for your physical body. Like I told you, even clinical data shows that even when you're sleeping with your spouse or someone that you love, it actually produces, of course, oxytocin, but it helps you relax, and so all of these benefits, but whether it's a son, a daughter, I mean, look at Dr. Angelica. When I hear your story, I'm absolutely astonished. It was almost like your sons just poured that into you, gave you hope and purpose, and encouraged you, loved on you, and walked you through it. Another thing I want to bring out too very quickly, because I know there are valuable other people on the line, with due respect, is that the need for connection, the need for true hope and love instilled into others, as well as we all sometimes need to be carried. Let that sink in just for a minute. We need to be carried at different points in our life. That's why it's so important that we need each other, that we have each other, that there's a community around us, that there's a good support system. It's lonely. It's hard walking through that kind of stuff by yourself. You need to have some kind of support system, whether it be your family, your sons, find a good girlfriend, somebody to reach out to. And it's okay. We all go through things that, come to try to break us, but in the end, hopefully it'll make us better. And, Dr. Angelica, I see the work that you're doing. God bless you in that. You're raising up people to give back, to instill hope, and to everyone that's listening. And that's the main reason why we're doing this today, is because to let people know you can make it. If we made it, you can make it. You're going to make it today. And there might be someone in stage 4 cancer listening to us that needs just to hear that, hang on for that next day. And it's the little things in life. I have learned how to value and see through their eyes, the perspective. It is the little things. When you wake up in the morning, when you see the sunshine of the day, it's, my patients have given back to me tenfold in the fact that just to learn how to see things through a different perspective, that every day matters, every day counts, and every seemingly small victory is a big victory indeed. So God bless you all, and thank you for having me. Yeah, thank you for just giving, let me be a part of this. This is amazing. But it's about hope, love, and just helping others, connection. So, yep, that's it for me.
Well, thank you for accepting the invitation and joining us, because your words are powerful. And we are hoping that we bring inspiration so that we can bring hope into people's homes and lives. So thank you, Tanya. And here we have Michelle Hoskins. You're experiencing cancer now, right, Michelle? Yeah. You're muted. We can't hear you. Or you might be in the Spanish channel. Check down in the bottom and select English. It's a world. No. Carmen, can you help her while we'll go to somebody else, Michelle, and then we're going to come right back. Okay. Carmen, help her out. We also have Pat Alba. Pat, welcome to the show. I know that you also experienced breast cancer. Tell us a little bit about yourself and
yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Angelica. I can say that you have met your goal of being an inspiration and providing hope to those who are undergoing cancer or know of someone. It is definitely a pleasure and an honor to be part of this amazing conversation, and an honor to get to know all these amazing women. I am definitely inspired. I live in Fort Worth. I am a 25-year cancer thriver. I do have a lot of cancer in my family. I am one of 11 family members who have had cancer, and I have survived 9 of them. So I have lived it in so many different ways, and was a caregiver for my mother and my sister as they went through their personal journey. So it is very near and dear to me, and this particular talk is, hitting close to home.
Right. What was the hardest thing that you had to go through when you experienced cancer? I know it's tough, but somebody out there is listening and will benefit from, okay, it was tough, but how did you cope and come out of the line, come into the line?
The hardest thing I think is to remember who you are. It's to remember who you are and to know that you are responsible for your health, totally. So when I took responsibility and I said, I'm going to heal myself from this cancer, and I'm going to choose the care that is best for me and that resonates with me. And I knew that it was all about attitude. I knew that 99% of this cure was about attitude, and that was something that I could control. So I took responsibility and I said, I'm going to heal myself. I am going to heal myself. I went through the traditional chemo and radiation, and I said, and I will do more. So I learned alternative medicine. It became a catalyst for me to learn alternative medicine. And I became a Reiki and a polarity therapist. So in the process, I learned how to heal myself through foods, through aromatherapy, through body work, through journaling, meditation, and through love and support. And it is really stepping in and taking responsibility for your health and knowing that it is in you to heal yourself. And that's what made me really, really a catalyst to get me moving forward, is that I can do this. I'm going to heal myself. I'm going to do what is true for me. And if you are out there and you are in the path, the advice that I would give you is that you take treatments that resonate with who you are and make the decisions that you're going to feel comfortable with. And attitude is everything. Your attitude will get you through this journey. And it's important that you step into your power and allow yourself not only to be taken care of, but also to know that you have the power to heal yourself.
Right. And I keep saying that we all have our own medicine kit, and we have to tap into that medicine kit and figure out, what do I use that works for me? Because people will tell you, use this, use that, do that. And if you don't, they get offended. But we all have our own medicine kit, and that's like, I push it big.
Yeah.
And then I do want to tell people, and I want to apologize that we're taking long, but I cannot cut it short because the conversations are juicy and they're powerful. And I feel that if I cut anybody off, there's a word that would have impacted someone's life and we would have done an injustice. So I apologize if I'm taking your time, but you can always log off, come back and listen to it again. But I wish you can really stay with us. And I'm gonna ask that you share, that you like, that you comment, because we want to make a difference and impact lives and inspire hope into people's lives. And for you to join us December 5th and 6th,
Right.
where we're going to be touching many, many lives at a deeper
At a deeper level. And Dr. Angelica, if I can, I will be part of that December 5th and 6th. And I will be talking about ultimate morning routine and how the first hour of your morning is the most powerful of your morning and how to take advantage of that. And I will take you through a process to create an empowering morning routine for you. And I look forward to that. Thank you.
Thank you. And then with us, we have Francesca. I haven't forgotten you, Francesca, and I loved you to the end because Francesca, and I don't know where Teresa's at. I saw her here and then I don't see her. If anybody sees Teresa Gibson, Carmen, or Ashley, bring her back in. I don't know if we accidentally took her out or not. But Teresa and Francesca are my partners, and we have an organization called the Three Gaia. And basically it's inner work, it's spiritual work, because the spiritual part of us is I am, right? And if you have to discover who are you, it's not a title, it's not a job, it's not a couple that makes you who you are, it's the you. So Francesca, introduce yourself and
Yes, I am Dr. Francesca Richardson, and I've been a mental health professional for 30 years and also a well-being researcher. So I will be talking in December about your relationship with your inner healer, but I'll just touch on it a little bit now. I will mention that I do have many family members who have had cancer. And even going back to my mother in 1987, when there really wasn't much that they could do, and they really were not, they did not really include the patient in the treatment. That led to me becoming a social worker. I worked as a visiting social worker, going to homes of cancer patients. And then a number of my other family members have had cancer, and I've seen the progression of the types of treatments and also just the embrace of energy healing. And I've done some research on energy healing and cancer. So I just want to let you know, and so I also have been delighted to join Teresa in this new venture, our Three Gaia, to uplift the voices of healers and spiritual teachers and empowering online programs and in-person retreats. So the inner healer, just want to think about, when I thought about this talk today, I thought about, relationships. And part of healing is about relationships. It's relationships with others, also relationships with ourselves, with our own bodies, and with all the aspects of our lives. What's our relationship with joy and purpose? And does that get redefined when we are sick? Does it shift our perspective of what brings us joy? Sometimes it can refine it, or we get lost for a while and we have to find it again. It might be something new, a new way of looking at things. We get lost in the darkness for a while and have to find that again. Also your relationship with your body, how you take care of yourself, how you, what kind of foods, what kind of environment you're living in. Do you walk in nature? Do you love to have beautiful things around you and beautiful aromas and beautiful colors? So really embracing the joy of your senses and being in this, on this earth plane can be so important. And it really brings it into focus when you get sick, how important all that is. So that you can just remind yourself of why you're here. Why are we on this planet? Why are we in this body? and what is our relationship to others? Perhaps bringing them joy and healing ourselves so that we can be a true presence for others. Well, thank you, Angelica. This has been so inspiring, hearing all these wonderful women and men going through their journeys, bringing all their knowledge, their wisdom. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And with us, we also have Michelle. Michelle. I don't know. Check your volume. Sometimes our volume is, oh, you did. Let me see if I make you a co-host, if it changes anything. Okay, try now. Oh my goodness. Can you log in on your phone? Yeah, maybe if you log in on your phone and it will help. And while she's logging in, I know that this is like a beautiful, this has been beautiful. And I really want to thank everybody that's showing up and having this strong conversation and courageous conversation of speaking up, speaking our truth, you know. Amber does talk about pain to purpose, and Dr. Francesca Richardson was talking about it too, where we all have a purpose. And I think that our experience that we went through and the challenge that we went through is our teacher. You know, I always say that we are in earth school, and every experience that we're in, it's really teaching us something about our higher self and how do we connect with that higher being of who we truly are. And not only when we experience that challenge, that chaotic moment, that dark moment, it's like we have to turn on the flashlight and find ourselves again. Because sometimes we get so lost in our ego, and when we're lost in that ego self, we're not the best version of ourselves. But when we fall and we're reminded, hey, wake up, you know, I think it's like a wake up call, then we can tap into our superhero energy again, the true being of who we are, so that we can go out and say and tell somebody else when they're experiencing, hey, if I did it, you could do it too. And it's a powerful way that Earth School teaches us to find our superpowers, to find our courageous self, right? And to stand up for who we are and then speak up. So,
Angélica, en lo que arreglan la situación, voy a leer un...
Angélica, well, the situation gets fixed. I'm gonna read an exercise of self-observation.
Presta atención a tus sentimientos. ¿Qué es lo que estás sintiendo en este momento? ¿Qué necesitas modificar en lo que ves y cómo lo ves? Conectar con el viento, con aromas. Puedes hacer ejercicios de visualización en hojas, en nubes, en el movimiento de las flores o con el aire. El aire es lo que contiene la información de las nuevas ideas, incluidas en ti. Inclúyelas en ti como una nueva brisa que te inunda aromáticamente. Es un ejercicio de donde puedes incluir el viento con las nuevas ideas y es una oportunidad pues de estar más relajados en estados alfa.
Gracias, gracias por compartir eso.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
Michelle? Oh my goodness, Michelle! I don't know what's going on.
Angelica, and if you go on her profile and if you try to invite her to activate her audio.
Yeah, let me, We did. I just don't know what's happening. And you're on your phone. That is weird. We cannot leave without you talking. So that is my goal.
Why don't you call with your phone? And
why don't you call me, Michelle, on my phone? I'm going to send you my number. And then you call me, and that way you're still here and you're calling me. I send it to you. Great idea. You see? More minds are powerful. There she is. I'm going to mute myself.
Good morning, afternoon. Peace, love, and happiness to everybody.
Can you hear her?
Can you hear me okay?
Beautiful. Just talk.
Okay. Well, good morning, afternoon to everybody. I do apologize for the technical difficulties, but the devil's a lie and the truth ain't in him, and we're going to keep it moving, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm Michelle Hoskins. I live here in San Antonio, Texas, and I had the pleasure of meeting beautiful Dr. Angelica when she was here a couple weeks ago. So I am so excited to be a part of this journey. And as you all heard, she said just a little while ago that I was diagnosed with cancer not too long ago, which was a total surprise. But we'll get into that in just a minute. But just to tell you a little bit about me, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've owned up to 7 businesses all at one time. My husband and I, we co-labor in business as well as in ministry. My strength is organizational management, resource and business strategy development. I'm a motivational speaker. I'm an author. We have a book coming out in a few months called Love That Works, and it's all about being able to love at what you do, love what you do, and especially if you're working with a partner, with a family member, or someone that you're married to. You have to make sure that you love them enough to make it work. So we do that, but my real gift is to entrepreneurs and to individuals that need resources. It doesn't matter if it's money, it doesn't matter if it's trying to start a business, it doesn't matter if it's trying to write a book, things of that nature. I'm really good at doing research and passing on what I have learned through the years through being a business entrepreneur, being able to show people how to do what needs to be done in a short time frame. So I really like to teach people how to work smart, not hard. And the other thing is, even though I know I'm going through this challenge with this cancer treatment, one of the things that I want everybody to take away from this, it doesn't matter what the challenge is that you might have in your life. You just have to make sure that the challenge doesn't have you. So every morning I get up, and even though my hair is gone, my fingernails have turned black, and I hate looking at my hands or at my feet because they're dry. It has me, I have it right now, but I'm being healed by God's stripes, and it doesn't have me. So it's just a journey that I have to go through, and I'm so blessed to be able to have the support of women and men that have been on this call. I've learned a lot today about resiliency, and I'm really looking forward to being able to pass that on to other people, because I think people really do need to hear that they're not alone. And as I started going through this journey, the one thing that helped me was what I call the power talk. The number of people I had no idea had gone through breast cancer treatment. And I have to make some really, really tough decisions. Well, I did have to make some until I got on this call today, but just in terms of like my physical being. And I know that I'm on track because God had already revealed to me everything that is happening or that was going to happen. He had already shown me in a dream. And so it was a little easier for me to deal with because I stay prayed up, I stay fasted up, and I just know that there's something good that's going to come out of it. And today is a real testament of what he's doing in my life that others can benefit from.
Well, Michelle, you know, we're all here to support you. So you have that messenger. We're all there. Anything you need, calling us. That's why we're doing this, because we're here to support people that are going through it right now. And you are a warrior, and I see it in you. And you look fabulous. You look great. You look great. So don't let those black nails fool you.
No,
because it happened to me. But
yeah, and it's just hard, you know, the transformation. And I have 11-year-old twins, and the hardest part, to be honest with you, is not so much dealing with what I'm going through physically. Is is the separation that I'm dealing with especially with my son, because he's a mama's boy.
Oh.
And that's really just the hardest part. And from a psychological standpoint, just making sure that he knows that I'm going to be okay. And so one thing that I've learned as a parent is that you have to be, this generation of kids, you got to be transparent with them. You can't candy coat it. You can't say, hey, you know what, this is what's happening. Just deal with it. It is what it is. But at the same time, you know what, again, I may have the cancer, but the cancer doesn't have me. And just teaching them that they're going to go through struggles in their life as well. But their struggles, they're going to learn how to deal with their struggles as a result of how I deal with what this challenge has proposed to me. And so I think you all might not know this, but I know Dr. Angelica knows this. When I spoke at a conference a couple of weeks ago, I shared with the group that whenever I go to chemotherapy, I look like I'm going on a cruise. I have on a nice hat. I have on a nice dress. I have on the tightest pair of pants that I can find, if I can find one. I had to stop wearing the really tight shirts because you can see my heartbeat. So, there's adjustments that I have had to make. But at the same time, I'm so happy when I go, because what does it say to the other people? We're talking about giving people hope and to let them know that just because you're going through this second chapter in life, you don't have to throw in the towel. You don't. You have support systems. You have people out there that really love you, that really, really care, that have gone before you. And just being able to share that with other people as a result of the way I walk into the doctor's office. My oncologist now is asking me to talk to her patients that are having a hard time dealing with it. And I think for me, the hardest part is I didn't know how to deal with it. And so I just decided I'm going to deal with it through my faith. I'm going to just let my faith be my guide. And, God just help me, and just help me to be the best person that I can be, because we don't know who's watching. And it might not even be cancer. It could be financial. It could be any type of situation or challenge that's being posed in your life. And so now, as a result of me sharing my testimony, I'm getting calls from people, and I'm getting emails, and they're asking me if I can come and speak. And I can't go back to work for a while, because the treatment is too debilitating, and it's more debilitating than I thought it was going to be. But at the same time, I am shocked by the amount of strength that I have internally to do what needs to be done. And someone on the call said earlier, don't be afraid to ask for help. I told my husband, I was like, I can't clean this house and I can't cook. So guess what? Now I have meal training. So they deliver 2 or 3 meals a week to me. I have a housekeeper, and we as women and men alike, we got to realize it doesn't have to be perfect to be good. I don't care right now if there are Cheerios on the floor that my kids have left there. I just don't care. I mean, nobody's dead. Nobody went to the emergency room. But at the same time, we're all happy. We can sit down at the dinner table. We make it a point every single day to laugh at something that somebody did, or to turn on stupid TV, so that we can just take advantage of those little things in life. Those little things in life is when I'm sitting there going to chemotherapy, that I can sit back and I can just laugh at my kids making a mistake on the piano when they're playing. Or I can just laugh at the fact that I was laying out on the floor in the bathroom and my husband had to come and pick me up. I mean, it's funny to me now. Back in the day when we got married, that was romantic, but there's nothing romantic about it when you're sick. But at the same time, we're counting it as joy, because we know that greater is coming. And so my message to anybody is that you have to make a conscious choice if you want to live or if you want to die. And I'm walking into my doctor's office. I get up in the morning because I want to live. I have so much more to give, and I just can't let this just take me out, and I'm not going to let it take me out. So I'm thankful for all the tips that everybody has provided so far. I was sitting here taking notes. I'm like, oh yeah, I got to incorporate that. So don't think that what you have shared was just for the people that were on this call. It's something that I'm going to be sharing. I'm stealing some of y'all's little notes. I'm going to take some of that. I can't remember everybody's name, but just know that things that have been shared will be shared with other people. And I'm so grateful to be a part of this. And God bless you for sharing this with us, this opportunity with us as well, because somebody needs to hear it and somebody needs to be exposed to it. So I'm grateful. To be last, but that's okay.
Hey, no, but you know what? The first one and the last one are always the ones that are powerful, because people remember them, they have a strong message, and all of you were powerful, but for some reason, that's how our mind works. It remembers the first and the last, and somebody needed to hear you and really hold that message at the end. So
and it's funny you should say that, because like I told you, my oncologist is asking me to talk to her her patients. And I'm like, well, I might be easy, but I'm not free. And so even though I'm not able to go to work, there's an opportunity there for me. And the one thing that I'm going to take when I start the new round of chemo on Monday, I have 12 more treatments to go. I've named every single one of those chemo treatments after a disciple in the Bible. And regardless of your faith, you know, you got to find creative ways. You just got to find creative ways to stay positive. And so when I'm going into that chemotherapy, I'm just thinking about what it means to be a disciple. And we are all disciples in this journey. And so us being able to share that message of, you know, we have hope. You know, yeah, the pink ribbon is great, but what's in our heart that we can give to other people is even greater.
Absolutely. I love your message. And we want to inspire hope to all the women and men that are out there. Michelle's truly a shero, like she is here living the moment and sharing it. So I love that. So I just want to thank everybody. And if we could bring all the sheroes and heroes back into the platform so that we can say goodbye and tell everybody how much we really care for them. That would be wonderful, ladies, if you can bring everybody back. I'm going to leave you on the phone here. So one of the biggest thing is, this is the Power Talk live show, but we are talking something about two topics that are very, very sensitive: domestic violence and breast cancer. So for those of you that are listening to this live right now, what we're asking is that you share, that you like, that you comment, because someone out there is waiting for this message. Maybe one word, because that's all it takes sometimes, just one word, just like Rose said, a word matters. And one of these ladies said something amazing that will impact and make a difference, that it will inspire hope, that will inspire an idea or trigger something that they hadn't thought of. So I really want to ask you that you share, you like, and you comment. If you want to listen to this in Spanish, everything is being recorded. It will be on a membership site. We will host both because it's a multilingual panel, and we want to honor both languages, the Spanish and the English. And next time I'll get fancier. Somebody told me they spoke French, and I was like, yay. I'm not there yet, but I will. So I want to thank you. And these are our amazing panelists. We are supported by two amazing organizations, the World Women Conference and Awards. The founder is Ragnar Sinikas, who is here with us, and also the Three Gaia, which is Dr. Francesca Richardson, Teresa Gibson, and myself. And of course, the Texas Tribe. And we have other amazing people around the world. This is a global virtual panel. So I am so grateful that everybody is here. And thank you again for being here present and sharing your wisdom. Oops, I think I'm gonna shut this down. Sorry. So thank you to everyone. And if we can just hold like 1 minute, if we can just be in silent, so we can send energy to all these domestic violence individuals and people that are experiencing cancer. Let's send them that loving energy and prayer for now. So we just ask God that you enlighten and that you bring hope to every heart and every wound, so that we may reach out to them in any way that we can, and that they may feel guided by you and feel the blessings, and they can begin to see the light, either finding their own medicine kit, finding a network, a support system that can really help them and guide them to find their truth, and they can feel alive again. Again, thank you very much. to all. Hugs and kisses and blessings. And thank you for being patient because we went beyond our time, but I could not stop you. I could not stop you from speaking. So I will see everybody in December. What is it? 5th and 6th. Join us because we're going to go deep in healing and empowering. If anybody wants to say bye or anything, this is your time. Unmute yourself.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much. So grateful to all of you.
What an amazing platform. I was so blessed to be here. Thank you so much, Dr. Angelica. Awesome job you and your team did. And all the speakers, I was blessed by everybody. Thank you.
And I want to thank the interpreters, Tanya and Azucena, and I want to thank Carmen, my support team, and Ashley for helping me make this happen because I could not do this octopus game.
Did a good job.
Angelica, I just want to say that I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud that you have truly stepped into your power, the authenticity and the real meaning of what it is to face your fears and what it is to really truly take your responsibility of your life and the commitment to be the voice for so many that think that their voice and their choice doesn't matter. So you're doing absolutely incredible work, and I'm so proud of you. So
thank you so much.
Thank you for being the inspiration for so many people.
Thank you. And when you decide to step into your power, like how you guys showed up, you know, and I decided to, this is what I'm going to do. It's like, and then more than I expected. You know, it's asking you shall receive, and then woof, like all of you showed up. So, and you showed up on your own. It was like we were just synchronous power, you know, synchronicity. So thank you, Michelle. I shut you off, but you can call me back if you want to say any last words. And si quieren decir algo, oops.
Muchas gracias a todas. Un gusto haber convivido.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this time and hear all these stories, these beautiful stories. So it just filled my heart. And thank you to all the ones that heard us. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Angelica, and all of the ones that are listening to us in English. It's so beautiful. It's a beautiful learning of all these people and beautiful time. Thank you for this labor that you have put in that God had put in your way, so we can empower others, so we can have compassion. Thank you very much to participate, to listen to you and being here with you, and hope that 5th and 6th has a big energy that moves, that we can break barriers with these conferences.
Absolutely. Well, thank you to all. You guys be amazing. Alma, my sweet friend, is here, so thank you. Thank you so much. Alma, you're muted, Alma. Alma, you're muted. There.
Okay, there. Thank you, Angie. It speaks volumes to a lot of women. Very empowered by your message. I really loved it. I'm so amazed at all these virtual speakers, right? They were doing an awesome job. And for that, I congratulate you, because it speaks volumes to a lot of women that have, you know, traveled through this path, right? And makes us more aware that future, you know, people in the future will not live this.
Absolutely.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.